Hi Taurus, welcome to your April 2018 General Tarot reading. It's Raina here. Happy birthday to those of you who are born in April, late April, and happy solar return to you. I'm going to be picking cards from the classic Rider-Waite deck, and the shadow, this is a card that I'm picking for the challenge position from the Wild Unknown Tarot, just as like kind of a shadowy influence, because it's such a gothic influence. Whoa, great card for, financial, good financial cards. Oh, I didn't do it. Well, let me just pick. I'm going to pick an additional card for the shadow. I just like unconsciously did it. Look what I got. Look at this card. Is this like crazy or what? What the heck is that supposed to be? I love these cards. There's like kind of almost like a black humor in them. So I'm going to put both of these for the challenge position. Okay, here I go. The overall theme for April for Taurus, this is a general reading just to remind you, is the Six of Swords. Some of you may be relocating, maybe moving to a new location. Sometimes this is a choice that you make. Maybe you aren't doing it physically, but you're doing it mentally, where you say, this can't go on any longer, whatever it is, and I need to choose peace. There has to be an end to the fighting. And, of course, this can be in any area of your life. I do get, like, some financial things going on here, so it's always possible that this is within your workplace, and you're thinking of leaving that company, leaving that job, and likewise, it can be in relationships. That's the thing about the tarot. It's very symbolic, but it's so open to interpretation, because if I'm doing a general topic, if I'm not like specifying love or anything like that, then people could be leaving any type of situation where there's a lot of tension, drama, and lack of peace. Now, these are two cards I got for the challenge, the Knight of Swords and then the Death card. So really, if this is a relationship situation, we can say that this could be something where you have a person who is a Knight of Swords is fire and air. So how that combination appears, the fire signs Aries, Leo, Sag, and the air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And if we want to specify gender, it would be a man, younger man under the age of 40, but sometimes it's older who are either immature or they're just like very fiery in their nature, so they can appear younger even when they're in their 40s and beyond. And with the Death card, we can be looking at the unwillingness to acknowledge that something is over with and trying to cling to the past. And this is certainly something that Taurus people can get involved with. These are challenge positions. These block your ability to move forward. The Knight of Swords also can be, if this, sometimes it's a lawyer, but it would be an unscrupulous lawyer. So if you're trying to file for divorce, or you're trying to look for somebody to sue because you had a specific problem that, you got cheated or whatever people sue for, you may pick a lawyer. Maybe you're trying to save money, but they end up being kind of sketchy. But I think that for some people, this is like you're rebirth in a way, the Knight of Swords, where you are feeling like you have the right to speak your mind. That's another thing about this guy, is he's very outspoken. And he's very passionate about his beliefs. So you may have been undergoing a lot of changes lately, Taurus, and you're not as willing to just go along to get along. You're feeling like you have a voice, that you have a right to certain opinions, whether it's in the workplace, in your personal relationships, and you don't feel like it's fair that other people are trying to silence you or not listen to you. And yet you may be afraid to leave. The Death card is like, change is inevitable. This is the end of a cycle, but you are clinging on. You may be complaining, though, at the same time, which isn't really a good situation to be in. You know, if you're happy where you are, then there's no reason to change. But if you're not happy where you are and you complain, then you're just stuck. And so anyway, I'm going to keep going because I'm going to show you what'll happen. The root cause of this Nine of Pentacles. So this is a card, in some cases, because of the nature of this card, you are very financially solvent and self-sufficient, and perhaps this is making you more outspoken. So maybe this isn't a marriage where before, if you were a stay-at-home parent and you did, you know, I'll just say a stay-at-home mother because this is kind of how it goes, and you felt like you were being controlled because you didn't have that kind of leverage. You didn't have a job. Now your kids are grown up, you went back to work, and now you're starting to feel like you have more of an identity, and you're getting stronger, and that is, and more confident, in other words. And so you're not willing to tolerate what maybe you tolerated 5 or 10 years ago. And this card is just saying that you have the ability to take care of yourself. The number 9 is about independence. Well, I mean, it's more about being alone. Like in the major arcana, the 9 is the hermit. And so you may be telling yourself, oh, I can't leave because financial reasons, but really you could if you really wanted to, and if you really tried to make it happen, you could. But there's a part of you that's afraid of the change in status, of being with somebody that you can say, I'm married to so-and-so. In the workplace, this can also be the same thing, where you have enough money that you don't need this job. You're telling yourself, oh, but I need the money. And really you have enough savings where you could do this. Now, obviously, this is only for those who actually this applies to. But for those people, you may be making lame excuses. And you know it's time to change, but you just can't bring yourself to do it. The higher message is the Page of Cups. And this is a card, first of all, of it can be, in some cases, this can refer to children. And I also got like this feeling that this was somebody who stayed at home with the children. Maybe you sacrificed a career. And you feel your marriage did not end well. I mean, you may still be married, but I mean, it hasn't evolved. And now your kids are growing up, and you're sitting there, sitting across the breakfast table, just staring at each other, and you have nothing to say to each other because now your kids are grown up, and you really never had this. You never deepened this relationship, and so now it's very awkward. The Page of Cups is saying that you did it for your child or children. So if you ever feel like you threw away your life because you didn't leave a marriage in your so-called prime years of life, that's not true. There was probably something you did. Maybe you were being sacrificial. And it can be a very good thing that you did that, because you may have raised your children to be more secure than you were growing up. because you actually took the time to invest in them. And you may have taken the time with your spouse if they would have been open to you, but it's obviously can't be a one-way street. So that's one possible interpretation. And the other thing about the Page of Cups is that it may be speaking of creativity. Maybe it's untapped creativity. So maybe you're an artist and you're working in a bank and you just can't stand it another day. And you just, I have to bail this. I have to leave. I just can't. And you're feeling this, the Knight of Swords too can be this feeling of restlessness, but the restlessness is interfering with your ability to make these very important decisions in a, what do you call it, like just a set of stages. And you may, you know, methodical, that's what I was looking for. And you may just be like, you know, so pent up and wanting to make things happen that you're not doing things in a methodical way. Well, what's coming in is represented by the Tower card. So this is like